after the jet provost, we have somebody who really is crazy, and that'll be Brendan O'Brien. He's the man who's going to try and land his Piper Cub on the shortest runway in the world, a trailer travelling at 55 miles an hour. There goes the jet provost. And I did say that everybody was going to be taking off and landing from right to left, but of course Dan has to be different. Actually, it's just to save a bit of time, because he was parked down the left-hand end and it meant he could just go straight into his takeoff run, and the wind is not that strong, or I should say just about within his limits to take off with a tailwind. So the jet provost, you'll see him do his opening manoeuvre as he comes in from the right. Little jet basic trainer. Very elegant little aeroplane.
Oh, I don't know. What did you think, mate?
And there, a hesitation 4-point roll. There's the third, and there's the fourth, bringing him back to the right way up. And rolling into one of those wing-over manoeuvres to reverse the direction of his display. I think as he comes towards us, we'll see him pulling up into a loop. I think he might roll it as he goes over the top. Not convinced about that. No. We saw him do a 4-point roll. I think he's going to do a 3-point now as he goes away. No, he and I are reading different scripts. Never mind. If you're on the front line, you may be able to see the big orange pyramid in the middle. That is the center of the display area. There was another of those Derry turns. In the 1950s, the basic RAF flying training combination was training on the Percival Provost, propeller-driven aeroplane, followed by advanced training on the Vampire. I remember it well. Lovely slow roll there from Dan Arlett. Very difficult manoeuvre to do. You get your hands and feet all crossed up, and the slower the roll, the harder it is to do. And then as he pulls away, pulling over in a half horizontal 8, which is forming half of a figure of 8 in the sky, rolling on the way up, and then pulling the aircraft over the top as if he were in the second half of a loop. I think probably a good photo opportunity coming up. I think he's going to fly by on the knife edge. But I haven't seen this show before. Yes, there he goes. There's the knife edge. So while they were using these piston engine powered Provosts as the basic trainer, somebody came up with the idea of having an all-through jet course. It would be quicker and easier than starting on propellers and converting to jets. So Hunting, who made the Provost, well, Hunting Percival they were then, decided to convert one to a jet. Here is barrel roll. That means, imagine the shape of a barrel lying along the axis of the display. The aircraft describes the outline of that. And then pulling up into a half Cuban, go over the top as if he were in a loop and then roll out on the way down. So, Hunting converted their piston engine Provost into a jet, First flew in 1954, became the Jet Provost 1. And there's Dan having rolled the aircraft the right way up and pulling up into another loop. Something that he calls a jet pipe kick. I don't know what that is. So the RAF then ran courses on JP1s, Jet Provost 1, alongside the piston engine courses. That the all-jet courses were going solo earlier and proving quicker through advanced training. Now there's a quarter clover maneuver. That he's changed the direction of the display through 90 degrees. Spiraling down. So having got these JP1s, they then developed that into the Mark III. Ultimately ordered for the Royal Air Force from what had by then become Hunting-Percival. The RAF became the first air arm in the world to go for all-through jet training, and the aircraft was sold to more than a dozen countries. Now this is the Jet Provost 5, by now built by a company called BAC, the British Aircraft Corporation. Inverted flypast. I don't know why we have to call it inverted, we might as well call it upside down. And pulling up into that half Cuban maneuver again, he rolls the aircraft on the way up and then finds himself at the top of effectively the second half of a loop. And this is going to be his final pass, a high-speed topside pass, he says, and zoom rolls. High speed in a Jet Provost is about 440 miles an hour. Distinguished pilot is Dan Arlett, flew the Tornado F3, the air defense interceptor, flew on operations in Iraq and in the Falklands, lots of days on quick reaction alert. He displayed the F3 in 2008. He's also displayed Hunters, Strike Masters, Yaks and extras. And he's now on the handling squadron at Boscombe Down. I think it's still called the Aircraft and Armaments Experimental Establishment, not sure about that. Anyway, he's the project pilot for the Joint Strike Fighter, the F-35B. However, so far he's only got to fly it in the simulator. Doesn't get to fly the real thing yet. I expect he will do as soon as it gets over here. So there it is, his display finished. He's doing what they call the downwind leg now, which is where the aircraft is flown in the opposite direction to the runway, but parallel to it. And he does his pre-landing checks, which means getting the gear down, the wheels down, and getting flap down. Flaps are the things at the back of the wings. They bend the back of the wing down, which means that the air travelling over the top surface of the wing has to go further than the air underneath, which is what lift comes from, because there's a low pressure above the wing. It doesn't really lift at all, it's suction. The aircraft is sucked into the air. So you put the flaps down. If you're near the aircraft, you'll see the flaps, little flaps at the back of the wing. And he's just on short finals now and about to touch down, and that is Squadron Leader Dan Arlett. You'll see that his Jet Provost, if you're close to it, has the crest of the Central Flying School on it.